Hello, kindred spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are going to be exploring the ins and outs of your month of February, as well as Aquarius season. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone new who may be joining us here on the channel today. We are going to be exploring, like I said, your Aquarius season, so happy birthday to any Aquarius out there. And even if you aren't an Aquarius, this is still going to be useful to you. And we're also going to be looking into the biggest themes and blessings coming forward, as well as relationship messages for the month of February. So we've got a lot to unpack here today. They all were very interesting, different kinds of piles, so definitely take your time choosing each pile, or if you want to choose more than one, that's totally fine too. But if you're interested in supporting this space even further, the New Year's readings I still have open right now for the rest of January, and I'm going to extend it into February. So if you're curious to look into your new year with more confidence and move through the year with more ease, then definitely feel free to check those out. I also have the charm casting mats open, custom stamps and magical stamps that I can create for you all, and other things to check out. So feel free to check all of the information for the different creative and magical musings that I get up to as a way to give back to this community. So if you're interested in any of that to support this space and support yourself, feel free to check out all the information for the different offerings I have down below through my Instagram. And yeah, let's go ahead and look at the piles. So we have 3 different piles here today, and of course I was feeling the pink energy. So here we are with pile number 1. If you're feeling called to this one, then it is the rose quartz heart here with this creamy rose quartz. So if you're feeling called to this one, that's pile number 1. Here for pile number 2 is this really pretty little shell. I'm going to call it the pink shell. So if you're feeling called to this shell, then that is pile number 2. And last but not least here for pile number 3 is another type of shell, but this is a Shiva eye shell in the heart shape. So if you're feeling called to this spirally shell, then pile 3 might be for you. But before you start heading off to the timestamps, as always, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath here with me in just a moment, so you can really connect with your guides. You can call them in if you'd like to, connect with each of the piles, and really connect with your own intuition. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath together here now. And as always, and as I mentioned earlier, there really are no rules to this. You can choose all 3 of the piles if you wish, or you can choose bits and pieces of it. You can take little bits from each or from others. You can choose a pile and change your mind and go to the other one. There really are no rules here. All of the timestamps will be down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And like I said, if you're interested in those charm casting mats, custom magical stamps, as well as those New Year's readings and others, then definitely feel free to check out my Instagram, where you can see far more information on those. So I'm going to go ahead and close off the intro. Let's go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1. If you decide to choose this little rose quartz heart, then this is the pile for you as we begin to explore your entire month of February as a whole, as well as looking into Aquarius season and what it might be bringing forward for you. Happy birthday to any Aquarius out there. And also we're going to be looking into any blessings or big energies that are coming forward that could be most useful to you. So we're going to be playing around with all of that using the charms, as well as several different decks here, which I'll always have listed in the description down below. But the main deck that we're using here today is the Queer Tarot, as I've been really called to this deck lately, and I usually pull it out around like Pride and stuff, but it's just really calling, so I'm going to see what it has to say for you all today. So feel free to get yourself cozy, settled, and comfy for this. As always, feel free to connect with your guides, call in your guides if you'd like to, and connect with your own intuition as we move through this. I always like to preface that if you see something else in this reading, or something else connects or clicks, and you just know that that is where it's trying to lead you towards, then definitely feel free to use your own intuition as we move through this. So let's go ahead and begin for you all. So we're going to start off by looking into the main energies coming forward for you for the month of February. So we're going to be pulling 3 different cards, maybe 4, maybe 5, depends, to see what those main energies are. What are those big themes, the biggest energies that are going to be coming forward for you for the month of February. So we already have 2 out here. Let's see if we can get one more for the month of February. Okay, we got a king coming forward here in the wand suit. I love this king of wands. So yeah, you've got a king of wands coming forward. And then you also have, 2 different 2s. So we've got the 2 of wands, so more wand energy. And then you have the 2 of cups as well. Interesting little lineup here. As the wands are all about really passionate energy and energy that really pushes us forward or showcases our ambition and our goals and our dreams. And you definitely have a lot of ambition, I feel like, as you begin this new month, or there's a lot of energy there's a lot of determination and motivation to try to get things going, to get the ball rolling. But first you have to really prep that ball, right? You have to prep to make sure that it actually can roll and will be successful. And so for you, I feel like you have a lot of planning still to do in general as you start the month, but I also just think as the month continues to progress, there's a lot of planning and consideration about where to place your ambition, where to place your goals, which people to place your trust and care into the goals and ambition that you have, right? And this ambition can go towards anything, right? You could be ambitious towards wanting to get to level 50 on an online game that you're on, or it could be something at work. It could be something really big, like wanting to go on a trip. It could be all different kinds of things. Wherever this ambition lies, though, wherever you feel that fire inside you to really, and this drive to really like go get something done and get the ball rolling on it, that's the feeling that I really have for you for the month of February. You have this go-getter determination and like hyper focus to get this ball rolling. So I have that coming in here for you, but it's less about actually having the ball roll in February and more about prepping to make sure that it'll roll safely, quickly, or in a way that will be more successful long term. I think I also get that planning energy from the King of Wands, because I always feel like the King of Wands is the type of king that really wants to set things out and make sure that they have a really good battle plan, right? They really think it through. I even am getting that from like the chessboard checkered print here, because if you think of chess, right, they have to be like 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of the game. And so that's really where I feel like you are working, the energy you're working in the month of February is that planning, making sure that you're putting your pieces, right, if it's chess, right, trying to put your pieces on the board in the best places possible to make sure that your goals and your ambition isn't just the only thing driving this, but also your plans too, that they drive it in a way that actually can be successful, right? Sometimes we can have all the ambition, all the drive that we want, but we don't have maybe the financial means to make it happen, or we don't have the people in our lives to help make it happen, or the resources, or whatever it might be. So there might be a bit of planning, a little bit of strategy, and deeper consideration needed here. And where that consideration might be is in relationships, but also I feel like I was talking about earlier, I feel like it could be in relationships, and the idea that like, who do you place your trust in when it comes to planning, and like what chess pieces would you be using, what people might you be calling upon to help you make this happen. But also the Two of Cups usually showcases a really deep connection with someone as well. And as we are moving into February with Valentine's Day, and at least, you know, for those who celebrate Valentine's Day, it might be that this is a very romantic month for you and a partner, for you and a friend. Maybe you just really want to be really close with your loved ones. You want to really strengthen bonds and friendships. And so this is a good time as well to reach out to those people, to maybe, you know, send out a little card or remind people that they matter to you. And so I get that energy as well, that relationships are at the heart of your month as well. So those are the 3 big energies you have coming forward: planning, ambition, and relationships. But of course we want to look further, so we are going to pull you a Prairie Majesty card to kind of get an idea of what energies are going to be most in your favor this month, or the blessings coming forward for you. So we're going to see what that is. I also like that these cards tend to have a prompt as well, so you can really think about how you could utilize this energy as well. So let's see what energy is most in your favor this month, or one that you could really ponder on a little bit more in your life to utilize here in February. the month of February, which energy is most in the favor for group 1 here? Ooh, charm. I love that you got like all this pink popping through. It's a very vibrant pink. So it just feels very vibrant, your month of February. But you have charm here with the ladybug. And the prompt here is, what if everything is already working out? And it's such a positive card because it really just is a reminder that sometimes we are the reason why we get in our own way. Maybe things are already working out and we're making the gears have to work harder. We're making things get, more difficult just by the way that we are approaching life. And so this is just a reminder kind of to not have to make things so complicated or trying to complicate things that should actually be quite simple. So maybe that's simplifying things when it comes to your relationships, trying to harmonize or trying to find compromise, trying to reach out to things that seem really complicated, but maybe they could be resolved with one conversation. Maybe it comes down to also the way that you wish to plan as well. There could be a bit of a charm to you as well. Maybe you're quite a charming person or someone who has a lot of charisma, and maybe you're using that charisma as well to kind of get what you want or what you're after, especially when it comes to like schmoozing. Oh my gosh, that word is very hard to say. Schmoozing. You know what I'm trying to say. Or like networking with other people as well, in terms of trying to just get on that level with other people to maybe get the resources, the financial means, or the support that you need to be able to get something going. So I really like that you have this lucky ladybug energy coming forward for you guys. Let's go ahead and move forward into more relationship messages, because I like to pull a relationship card just to see the overarching energy for relationships this month. But if you have a specific relationship, whether it's platonic, spiritual, a relationship with yourself, or another, however you want to see it, feel free to send that energy in and we'll see what that might be. But we're going to look collectively. So I think it actually might be that one. Group 1, you have here white carnation, and it says here devotion. Be true and pure in thought and deed. So when I first saw this is that purity that you get from that like creamy white color. It also reminds me of like a lot of the time like friendship. So there could be like, again, wanting to devote more time to a person, to someone which maybe you haven't talked to in a while. You haven't maybe put a lot of effort into a relationship. Maybe it's just sort of falling to the wayside and you don't want to lose that relationship. So there's something showing up here of wanting to be more devoted, wanting to be more connected, and putting more effort and time and care into a specific relationship in your life that you feel like might be getting a little loose, getting a little lost, or just, again, like falling to the wayside, that you don't really necessarily want that to happen with. So be true and pure in thought and deed. So it's also making sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and not for some alternative. I'm pretty sure it's ulterior motive. So anyway, that is your card here for how your relationships might be manifesting. But we're also going to be pulling two cards actually, to look into Aquarius season. So this is all just basically on the biggest energies coming forward for February, but this is specifically about Aquarius season, where I want to see how you could be utilizing the Aquarian energy. Even if you're not an Aquarius, this is still going to be the energy that we're in for the month, for the majority of the month. And so Aquariuses are very innovative souls. They're very good at taking things from the old and digging it up to make something new, innovating it, changing it, tweaking it, making it better, or moving it into the future. There's this very new age, trying to move things forward, trying to progress energy that I get from the Aquarian season. And so when I'm looking at this, I want to see what it is that you're bringing and innovating into your life. Maybe something that you're taking from the old and moving into the new. So let's see where those energies might be coming forward for you all. Okay, so you have 2 cards here with the 4 of thread, the loom, And it says here boundaries, community, and responsibility. And then you also have the artist here with creativity, ingenuity, and labor. So it could be it could be that when you put these two together, there is this energy of wanting to, again, bring more of your relationships, or bring more people, bring more community, bring more, just people and relationships in your life into the forefront of maybe the ambition and energy that you're bringing forward. So whatever it is that you're feeling quite ambitious about, it feels like the way that you might be switching things up in your life is that maybe you've kept it quite quiet. Maybe it's something like, say you're learning guitar or something, and like nobody knows you're learning guitar, but you've been like learning guitar for a year or whatever it might be, and it's like all of a sudden you're allowing other people into that and into that space with you, and growing intimacy with others, or growing more of a community, feeling more connected with other people in that way. And so for some of you, I feel like you might be doing that, finding ways to bring more of your loved ones, bring more of the people, or bring new people into your life through those hobbies, through those that ambition, right? Networking and building that community. But I also feel like for some of you as well, that this may be very much related to the workplace for you, because we do have a lot showcasing that responsibility, community, labor, and I feel like for some of you, it's really deeply connected to that. So maybe it is also that you're networking within your workspace to be able to make something happen when it comes to those ambitions, and to maybe something that's a very creative project for you as well, maybe going in a direction you don't normally take. So that's the energy that I have coming forward for you all, but I'm going to pull some charms to finish off your reading. Definitely feel free to give this video a like if you've been enjoying it so far. It really does help the algorithm, helps with YouTube, all that stuff, and lets me know that you're enjoying it. But let's go ahead and pull some of these charms. Okay, not a ton, but we got some big chunky ones here in the center. I also got more of that feeling that this is very much connected to wealth, or to finances, to the ambition that you're having is very much related to that labor feeling, to the feeling of a workplace, or to something that you're putting, it's a labor of love as well. Because you did get the gold chain here, which I always see like, it's like connected to work in some way, and you have it falling towards like literally networking with a bunch of people around the world. Maybe some of you are actually connecting with people way beyond your local community, and maybe building a much bigger network, a much bigger net. The other thing that I have coming in here, and the loom as well kind of can look like a net, so I just thought of that too. But you do have over here the hesitation charm, which I think is really interesting, because you have all of this energy of like ambition, determination, but again, without other people, it kind of falls apart for you. It's more difficult for you to achieve whatever it is you're setting these goals towards, and maybe that is what is kind of putting you towards a I'm having a hard time with words today, but a more hesitant like disposition. And I think that comes forward a lot with this charm, because when I look at this one, it just looks like a bird about to fly for the first time, and they're just hesitating on the branch. They haven't done it yet, but they're in that weird anticipation stage. And then the last two charms that you have here are showing up here with everything working out. That's what it fell on. And you got the success charm of the celebration. It says celebrator or something down here, but I always think of it as celebrations. But then you also got it with a key, which a key usually represents something unlocking, something opening, something, it can be used to lock, but in this case, it really feels like an opportunity that is going to present itself to you. And when it fell on everything. So it's telling me that it's going to be an opportunity that really opens up everything, opens up a lot of doors for you, which is really exciting, especially because it could have been something that felt like a big obstacle in your path, because you did have the mountain goat here. And so, right, they've got to climb the mountain. And so I feel like you're either on the other side of the mountain, and now you finally have a lot more to see. You have a big vista to look over, to be able to have these opportunities come forward, but it's more of that, what if everything is working out? And I feel like things might really be working out when you least expect it, or when you allow yourself to get to a space of sort of calm after the storm. So that's the feeling that I have for you guys for your month of February. I hope that this has been useful and helpful to you in navigating your coming month. If it has, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below what you saw. As always, I'm very curious. And if you're interested in these pick a card readings, I put out new readings every single Monday for you all, and I have lots of other videos like charm casting videos, art magic videos, and others. So feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are interested in the New Year's readings that I do, I am actually going to extend them into February, because I feel like sometimes January is just a lot of pressure to be able to look into the new year, and sometimes it's by February when we start to really get the ball rolling on those things. So feel free to reach out if you're interested in those New Year's readings, as I'm going to continue them into February this year. But with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off this reading. Thank you so much for hanging out here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2, if you've decided to choose this pink shell, then this is the pile for you, as we are going to be looking into your month of February, into Aquarius season, into the blessings or energies most in your favor this month. And we're going to be doing that with the charms, as well as several different oracle decks here, and the main deck being the tarot deck of the Queer Tarot, which I've just been really called to. I know I used it last week, and I try not to use two in the same like in a row, but I just really was feeling it today, so I pulled it out for you all. It's really vibrant and fun, so I hope you guys enjoy it. But if you're interested in all of the different supplies that I use here today, it'll always be listed down in the description in case you're curious and want to have a little look. But definitely feel free to get yourself cozy and settled and comfortable for this. Feel free to call in your guides, and feel free to use your own intuition as we move through this, because a lot of the time there are things that you're going to see that I might miss, or there's things that we can work together on to really build the full reading. So let's begin first by pulling 3 different cards to look into your month of February, the biggest energies, the biggest themes coming forward for you all. So here we go. And feel free to really connect with the cards here. Group, ooh, they're flying in my hands. Group 2, we've got the 10 of Pentacles. My goodness. And you also have the moon showing up here. And also feeling this one. And the 7 of Cups. That one came out, I think, last week as well. But you have a few different things. This is a really interesting little lineup here. It's very busy, like the colors, the intensity of everything, especially these 2 cards. It's very busy. There's a lot happening here. So you might find that you have a very busy month going on, or you just feel maybe it almost feels busy in the brain, like busy in the head. Like you just feel like maybe there's not a lot of stuff going on, but I can feel like maybe a bit of anxiety, or just a little bit of like, even like, you know, that cabin fever feeling when you feel kind of antsy. That's the feeling that I'm getting here. Like you guys are just anticipating something to happen. You're just ready for something to happen, or to get something moving. So you might be feeling a little bit of that anxious or antsy feeling coming forward. Feels like things are just feeling kind of quite emotionally like heightened as well, because you do have the moon and the 7 of Cups, which the cups represent our emotions, and your emotions, like I said, they're kind of all over the place. You can't decide. You're over here, you're over there, you're thinking about this, but you're also thinking about that, and you're just like head in the clouds feeling. And then you also have the moon, and the moon can show us a lot of illusions. It can represent feeling also the swell and the up and down of emotions that the moon can bring us, right? Those phases, the tides being brought back and forth each day. And so there's this feeling too with these 2 together, that you just might be feeling these heightened sense of emotions, and then these big swells, really. That's that. It's not even just that your emotions are high and low, it's just that they swell back and forth and back and forth. And so I feel like you maybe are having a harder time being grounded in this coming month, that you might just feel very very floaty. You've got a high one day, you're on a high, and then the next day you're kind of feeling a low. And so really be gentle with yourself, be tender with yourself on those lower days, allow yourself a bit of grace. Sometimes we just have months like that where just emotions are all over the place, and sometimes we can really judge ourselves for that. And so it's a good reminder starting off the month that if you're feeling these big swells of emotions, it's okay. Maybe get out a journal, maybe allow yourself to talk to a friend or talk to someone whom which you really trust when you're feeling those big swells, even not only just the lows, but also the highs, because, it's nice to have the contrast, but sometimes that contrast can feel really wishy-washy all over the place. Like I was talking about, you have kind of a harder time maybe feeling grounded, as you do have at the center of here, surrounding everything, a very busy looking card for something that should feel quite grounded, in that the Ten of Pentacles can talk about inheritance, it can talk about money and all of these things, but in this case it really just feels like there's just a lot of people hanging out in this card. There's a lot of things going on, and it kind of feels like maybe there's a lot of things going on within your family or within a chosen family of your own, where there is just maybe it also could be that they are feeling a swell of emotions as well, and that all together you guys are just kind of in this soup. And so it's really hard for me to say like what exactly is causing these swells. We're gonna see more as we move forward, but I really feel like it's just gonna be one of those months that it's less about like getting things done or being very productive or whatever it might be, and it's more about just trying to find a balance when it comes to emotions, when it comes to how you're feeling, how you're expressing your emotions, and then the ways that you share your emotions and share your feelings with others as well, how you want to communicate those things. And so making sure also that when you are talking about your emotions and the feelings that you might be feeling, it's being very honest and very true, and not, working with illusions that the moon can showcase here. But also just a reminder that it's okay to go through those up and down swells and phases. So that's the feeling that I have so far for your guys' pile, but we're going to look a little further as I'm going to pull a card to look into your blessings. You can see this as blessings from spirit, but you can also see this as a card to showcase what is most in your favor this month, what's an energy most in your favor. And I like that this also has usually like a little bit of a journaling prompt at the top of the card or something to ponder on, and it's a great way to figure out how you might want to work with this energy as you move through the month. So let's see, group 2 here. What energy is most in your favor this month? Sorry, I've got like a frog in my throat here today. But what energy is most in your favor this month? Ooh, trust. What a nice one. There's a lot of this pink energy that's been coming forward with all of the piles so far. I mean, we've only had one other, but this pink energy that just keeps coming forward. But you have here the white-tailed deer with trust. Am I honoring my knowing? And so this is not only just trusting others and putting trust in others, and like I said, being able to trust that others are going to listen and support you when you're going through these big swells and everything, but also trusting in yourself, trusting that you're able to navigate this sea, this rough sea that you might be going through, or these big swells back and forth, because sometimes we have a hard time, trusting ourselves or trusting our own mindset, especially when we're going through big highs and big lows. It can be a difficult time to kind of find our own balance or find our bearings on these rough seas. And so I think what's going to be most useful to you is, one, to entrust others with how you're feeling and what you're going through, and being able to be vulnerable and share what it is that you're feeling, but also knowing and trusting in yourself, because you've gone probably through this before. It's probably not the first time you've gone through these kinds of swells, and it's being able to trust that you'll be able to get to the other side, and trust that you know how to navigate these seas even if it's difficult. And so there is that feeling too of inner trust as well as outer trust. And so I really like that this gentle and tender deer is coming forward too, to remind you that yes, they're very strong. Deer are very strong, but they're also very gentle, tender, I was going to say characters, but animals as well. So allowing a little bit of grace for yourself is really important. So let's go ahead and pull you a relationship card as well to look a little bit further, as this is the month of love for many people. It's interesting to see what might come through with these, but this doesn't have to be relationships that are with a partner, but it can also be looking into just the general feeling towards relationships in your life with family, loved ones, friends, spirit, yourself, and see what comes forward. So group 2 here. What do you got coming forward in terms of relationships for the month of February? Group 2. Okay, so you have desire. I'm going to drop it everywhere, but you have desire here with be certain of where you place your passions. Very interesting that this one has come forward because we do have that trust, right? And there's this feeling of being certain of where you place things, where you place your trust, where you place your desire, where you place your passions. And so again, maybe it isn't maybe the best place for you to place it, maybe within family or really close people that you see all the time, but maybe in a friend that you don't get to talk to as often, or someone else whom which you trust, because there is that feeling here of like this feeling just very chaotic. They're going through a lot of things, you're going through a lot of things, and maybe it's not the right time to find support there right now. I'm not saying that it isn't for all of you, but like for the majority, that's the feeling that I'm getting here. I feel like we have another card that wants to come forward, so I want to pull another one for you all. You also have, Moth Orchid with communication. Listen and speak with gentle care, or greater care. The word gentle is really coming forward for you all. But communication is obviously important in any relationship. I mean, it's the heart and foundation of most relationships. So of course, communication is very important. But maybe it's communication and how you want to, again, place how you want to present your desires, how you want to present and entrust other people with how you're feeling as you move through the month. So it's, again, who you're communicating with is really going to be down to who you truly trust and considering who would be best for the situation. So I really feel like it's just kind of a reminder that this is definitely related to how you want to communicate with other people, which I feel like is what we've already been talking about. So I probably won't chat on these ones too much longer, but it's nice when they do align. But we're going to pull 2 more cards as well as some charms to finish off your reading here in a moment. But we're going to do 2 cards here to look into Aquarius season. And so happy birthday to any Aquarius out there. But even if you're not an Aquarius, this is still going to affect you, as it's a season that we're in until about like the 20th of the month. And so we're going to pull 2 cards here to look into different cards that are going to showcase ways in which you might be innovating things in your life. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of the time Aquarius are all future oriented. They really want to push things forward to the new age. They want to modernize, move things forward, innovate things, take things from the old and make it better. And so I want to see what you are kind of drudging up from the old to make better this month. So let's go ahead and see where that innovative energy is coming forward for you all for the month of February. Okay, there's that word gentleness coming forward again with the Ace of Thread, fiber. Any of the aces usually represent a fresh start as well, and it says wandering, warmth, gentleness, the Ace of Thread, fiber. So gentleness, tenderness with yourself, this feeling of being able to just ride the wind with those like dandelion seeds in the background. And then the reason why this kind of is like the what is going to be the outcome of your innovations, what is going to be innovated, words are hard for me today for some reason, is the 4 of Paper signature, tradition, organization, and planning. So if you guys have ever tried to make a book or whatever, you put them into signatures, and you really have to plan ahead of time to make sure that those all line up, that the words are in the right places, that the book pages are all aligned, that it does go from 1 to 14 or whatever it is. And so when I'm looking at this, it's telling me that this is very structured, rigid, things are all in their perfect little places, and then you're moving to a place of gentleness where you're literally just being carried by the wind and you don't have cares in the world, you're just floating. And so the fact that you have both of these coming forward with trust in the middle is telling me that what is innovating for you right now is the structures in your life, and to be able to have these structures in your life be innovated, changed, structures as in like habits, rituals, the way in which you go about your routines, those sort of things are going to be changed up, and maybe that's where these emotions are going to get kind of trudged up and moving around, is because you're kind of shaking that foundation a little bit to be able to gain a little bit more freedom, a little bit more gentleness, a little bit more free flow energy. And when things start flowing, we're also flowing a lot more emotions too. And so that makes sense with everything else we had come forward here, but you're really seeking out with this Aquarius energy to innovate structures in your life, to gain more freedom, to gain more gentleness, tenderness, and to gain more of that free floating energy. So we're going to finish off your reading by pulling a few charms to see what they have to say. So feel free to pull or have a little chat with the charms before we pull them. Let's see what comes forward for you, group 2. Okay, so let me zoom you in. So I find this really interesting because I think of this charm as being a charm to showcase structures in our lives, as it is a little Lego. It's like a foundation that we're building. And you had it show up over here on family. So again, there's something about family where you don't maybe feel super anchored right now. Maybe that's where a lot of these illusions are coming forward, where maybe this communication is needed, or where these structures are changing in your life, because that keeps showing up multiple times. And the fact that on trust, you have like, I kept having all of these feelings of swelling seas and being on a ship or a boat or whatever, and then you got the energy of the anchor. It just and not only the anchor, but the anchor being like risen. So it tells me too that the anchor is coming up. So between these two things, structures are changing. The structures that are changing in your life really feel like they are related to maybe a rift that you feel towards something within family, because you did get the charm where there's like this weird rift. And so maybe a structure is changing in your life around family right now. And it doesn't have to be something bad, right? It doesn't have to be a huge rift between, two family members or a feud or something going on. But it could just be a rift because, natural things are happening and you just aren't able to talk to that person as often anymore. Maybe they're in a different life stage, or something else is going on that makes it kind of more difficult. And so these structures are shifting and changing here. Possibly with someone which is a Leo, as you did get the energy of Leo coming forward here. It also says generosity here, or generous. So it could be someone which is either a Leo in their sun, moon, or rising, or just someone who you find is very generous or giving all the time. And then you also got your last charm here showing up on the white-tailed deer, like right in the center, straight center stage here with the melody charm. And when I think of this one, it makes me think of like a humming a tune or humming a melody. So more of that tenderness. Music might be a really helpful way to anchor you. I know that for me, music sometimes can also get me feeling lots of emotions. And so it can sometimes be okay to be a little bit floaty, to be, to feel our feelings, to feel what is coming forward. And so I feel like that might be a part of your month as well, that music could be a really good way to connect with these emotions and better move through them. So overall, those are all of the charms and the cards that I have here for you for your month of February and for Aquarius season. I hope that this has been useful to you, and if it has, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below what you saw in the charms and the cards in your pile in its whole, in its entirety. I'm having a hard time with words today, but I do hope you did enjoy. And if you are interested in these pick a card readings, I put out new readings every single Monday for love, career, for spirituality, and for others. And I also do art, magic, and charm casting videos that you can look into as well. So definitely feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're interested in the New Year's readings that I had open just for January, I'm actually going to keep them open for February as well. So if you're interested in getting a New Year's reading to really look into the new year, see what's coming forward to help you navigate the new year with more ease and understanding, then definitely feel free to check out all the information for those down below. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and close this off for you. I really hope and wish for the best for you for the month of February, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you decide to choose this Shiva eye shell with this little heart, then this is the pile for you, as we are going to be navigating your next entire month of February, as well as any blessings coming forward for you or energy that's most in your favor for you this month. And we're also going to be looking into relationships and Aquarius season, so there's going to be quite a few different angles that we're going to be hitting. We're going to be doing that with the charms as well as several different oracle decks, and the main deck today being the Queer Tarot, which I've been really feeling lately. So I know that I just used it last week, but I couldn't help myself but pull it out for you guys again. So we're going to be playing around with this one. I've been loving the energy that has been bringing forward for these piles so far, so I'm curious to see what you all get. But definitely feel free to check out all of the different decks and supplies that I'm using if you're curious. Down below in the description, I'll have it listed. But we're going to get right into it. So feel free to call in your guides. Feel free to connect with each of the supplies here, to call in anyone which would be useful to you, as well as call in your own intuition. So we're going to get right into it. So feel free to get cozy and settled, and let's pull 3 different cards to look into the main energies on their way in for you for the month of February. So here we go. Month of February for group. Ooh, we're starting off with the Fool. I love this Fool card. It's so pretty. But we're going to have the Fool energy coming forward. Very different from the other 2 piles so far. You also have the Empress. Wow. What an interesting pile so far for you guys. And then one flying out. Let's see what it has to say. And then you also have the 10 of Cups. Ooh, what a really cool pile. This feels like such a breath of fresh air. Like, pile 2 had a lot of chaotic energy, and pile 1 felt very, like, clean, rigid. Well, maybe not rigid, but very clean, cut, nice. And so your pile just feels very, almost childlike. It feels very, like, playful and fun. Like, I feel like there's just so much creativity and play for you all in this coming month, that it's not going to be not that there's not going to be stress, and I'm not going to say you have a stress-free month, but I do think that you are finding ways to overcome your stress through using some like childlike fun and play and creativity. So maybe that's through different hobbies. Maybe it's listening to music, maybe it's hanging out with friends or doing something like that, or it's coloring, or literally doing things you enjoyed in your childhood, whatever it might be. But this Fool energy and like these little kids dancing down here with the little rainbow, it just feels so playful, so playful. I'm really loving that coming forward. Yes, it does mean that sometimes we can get into a headspace where we maybe aren't going to be the most responsible person, or the person which you'd go to do your taxes and stuff. But it does mean that, like, say you have to do your taxes and you're trying to get things done. While you're doing so, you're finding ways to cope with difficult, stressful situations by getting into a more childlike or playful mindset that, best suits you. And so it can be kind of a superpower for you this month, or something that you can really use to your advantage. But again, like I said, it doesn't mean to throw your responsibilities or to throw your stress to the wayside, but rather that you're using these as ways to or tools, this creativity and this playfulness as tools to help you move through those more difficult and less fun responsibilities in your life. So that's the feeling that I'm getting here. It's very quick to the point, but I would say that you guys are getting a lot of creativity coming forward, a lot of fun, a lot of play. Like, there's not a lot to talk about here because it's just very, like, almost giggly and fun. Like, I know, it's like, what else is there to say? So I'm curious to see what your other cards are going to say. I usually talk longer on these 3, but honestly, it just feels so fun. Like, I'm just thrilled for you guys, you know what I mean? So, just trying to take things not so seriously, allowing humor to come forward, creativity, dance, just enjoy the little joys in life is really what I'm getting here for you guys. It's just going to be a very joyful, creative, playful, and fun month. So let's go ahead and see a card to look into, any blessings coming forward or an energy most in your favor this month. And what I like about these cards is they usually have a sort of prompt at the top too that you can use for journaling or finding ways to better connect with the card that you receive. So let's see the energy most in your favor this month. Group 3. Okay, so you have, this makes sense because like I said, everything you've had so far has been just so playful, fun, creative, nice, and bubbly. But then you have the nurture card coming forward with Eastern Cottontail, and it says, what role is mothering energy playing in my life? Or I like to say parenting energy. So when I'm looking at this one, it just makes me feel like, yes, you have all this creativity coming forward, you have this fun, this inner child play, and like your inner child is just like having a good time, or your inner teenager, your inner, 20-year-old or whatever it might be. But it's almost like this nurture card is being like, okay, but we got to rein it in. We still got to get things done. There's still stuff to do, but they're not, quelling or making, you feel shame for having the fun in the first place. Does that make sense? Like, there's a good balance here with this card coming forward. So this is an energy that's going to be in your favor, which tells me that it's not something that's coming to like shame you or tell you off or make you feel bad for enjoying things, but rather, yes, you can feel the joys in life, but like also we still got to get that done or go to the mail or, whatever it might be. But on your way to the mail, blast the music, have fun. So that's really what I'm getting here, is this nice balance that you're getting. It's a really nice set of cards. I'm really excited for you guys. So let's go ahead and pull a card to look into the energy for relationships for you this month. And so when I pull this card, I like to look into relationships on as a whole. But if you have a specific relationship, a family member, a friend, a spiritual relationship, or one that's with yourself that you want to really look more deeply into, we can do that. But definitely feel free to send that in and we'll see what comes forward. So this is just going to give us a little bit of advice or understanding of the relationships as a whole for you in the month of February for group 3 here. Okay, so you got grounding. I'm also going to pull this one too. I just felt like there was one more on the top. And enthusiasm. Okay, so you have grounding with the beginning is where you need to be. And then you have down here with orange blossom, enthusiasm, the best can be here, believe it. And what I love is oranges are a super great symbol of joy. It represents like pure, absolute joy. And so you have that coming forward with a card showcasing more of that orangey energy. It just feels so bright and nice. And I'm not trying to like hype up your month to the point where it feels almost like stressful, you know what I mean? Like where you have to be having fun all the time. But I just think you're going to be really in the moment. Like this is your moment. And when I'm looking at these two cards coming forward, grounding and enthusiasm, it really does showcase, again, those two sides of the coin that keeps coming forward in this entire reading, of enjoying all of the joys, enjoying and being enthusiastic about life, but still having to ground and make sure that you don't get too floaty or too out of it to the point that you can't get other things done. And so I feel like when it comes to your relationships, it's just the same. It's really just showcasing those same two energies being mirrored back at you. But when it comes to this, it's just that you're going to be sharing those joys, sharing those energies with other people in your life too. And maybe by doing so, they can help ground you, but you can also bring the joy and the party to them. Does that make sense? I feel like it's just sort of, again, a mirror at every point in your life, in your career, in your relationships, in your family, and your home life, in the routine and chores that you need to do. All of it is reflecting this same energy of joy and passion, but finding a balance with that to the everyday mundane things you got to get done. So let's go ahead and finish off your reading with the charms here in a moment, but I want to look into Aquarius season first and see what comes forward. So happy birthday to any Aquarian people out there. We're going to be looking into this even if you're not an Aquarius, so we're going to see what's coming forward with the Aquarian energy that we can work with. So Aquarius season is a great time to innovate things in our lives, to think forward thinking, to really think about how we're going to take the old and make it something new. And so I want to see what energy might be coming forward to kind of innovate things in your life as you move into February and this Aquarius season. So group 3, what is being innovated? So you have the 6 of paper, glue, and the book, identity, consciousness, and manifest. This one also says mending, healing, and reconciliation. So we're kind of going from this to this, which when we're looking at this, right, when you're trying to build a book or bind a book together, right, you're definitely going to need a lot of glue, and you're going to need a lot of stitching and other things too. But it just feels like something is binding these together. And so when I'm looking at these two, when it comes to innovation, it just feels like the healing message is coming forward quite a lot, this mending and healing. And when we're looking at a book, it represents, like they said, your identity. It's the things that make up all of us, right? Each page in the story, each page in the chapter makes the whole story come together. And so when I'm looking at this, what you're innovating is maybe the way that you're looking at your identity, and maybe how you're gluing different pieces of your personality back together, things that have felt separate for a while. Maybe it's that you've been a very responsible, very poignant, very determined adult, and now you just want to play with some macaroni art or whatever it might be and not feel shame for that. And so I feel like there is this feeling again of mending or healing, an inner child feeling that's coming forward here, an inner teen, in your inner 20s, your inner 30s, whatever it might be, and kind of putting it back into your story. Maybe it felt like it was ripped out, or you've lost pieces of that, maybe due to memory, maybe due to shame, maybe due to just losing that connection, whatever it might be. But I really feel like the connection to a past version of yourself is going to be really important, and kind of mending that identity. So really cool, the things you have coming forward for you guys this month. I'm really excited so far. So let's go ahead and pull you some charms to finish off and see the last and final details. And we'll see what you guys get. I know your reading has been kind of quick. I didn't mean for it to be so quick, but it just feels very to the point, and I don't want to overstate the same things over and over. So we'll see if we get anything else here from the charms, but otherwise it feels just easy breezy, and I don't want to overcomplicate things that are pretty simple. So let's pull some charms. Okay, so you had one fall in my lap, and it is the letter Y, so we're going to see where that lands. Falling more on that mothering energy. I didn't talk about this earlier, but it could also be just that a parent in general could be a really good asset for you in the future for you. But what I immediately got from that as well is you've got the letter Y showing up for it. And so maybe it could be related to an initial or something like that. But it also makes me think of like when we're talking about going back to our inner child and sometimes needing a little bit of help from parents in our lives or people we look up to, mentors, teachers, creators, or whatever. When we're looking at this, it makes me think of like when you're in that 3-year-old stage of like asking why the sky is blue, why the grass grows, why this looks like this, why blah blah blah, and there's just so many why questions, and wanting to know why the world works the way that it does. And so I feel like you might be also asking a lot of questions to people you really look up to and people which you want to learn more from. And so there could be a bit of learning that's going on here. You feel quite secure as well. You got the security charm, so you feel quite secure in this relationship or the people in which you might be reaching out to. You also have that this could be a form of self-care or self love as well. The reason why I always think that is because it used to be pink, but this has gotten kind of grubby. I need a new self-love charm for sure. You also got a couple of other things. So we have over here the bear claw charm. This is the one of the charms where I just think of a bear in hibernation. So if it falls this way, it's hibernating. If it falls that way, then it isn't. And it's more like when it's active. And so you have it falling on the hibernation charm, which I think is interesting because, like I said, this is the energy of wanting to glue pieces of yourself back together to kind of reform your identity or to reshape it in some way. So maybe you've been hibernating on this for a while, and this is something you're bringing forward to kind of bring more harmony, to bring more healing towards yourself, and this is the month to do so. So maybe it's like when you're starting this, maybe you guys have been listening to all of this, like, what are you talking about? I don't feel that at all. But maybe as you navigate the next, couple of weeks, this is really going to come forward for you as you do have the navigation charm of the sort of captain's wheel. You also have over here the bat cat charm. I think it's a lot of you guys have said that you think it's just a bat, but I don't know, it always just looks like a cat that's also a bat, and so it usually represents to me a kind of a playful energy, of course, but it also represents putting together two things that feel like they shouldn't mix or don't really make sense together, right? A cat bat. It's this imaginative energy, and so again, you're imagining a new form of identity. You're forming two different pieces of your identity and letting them fuse or work together in a new and innovative way. I'm almost seeing that too with the spiraling book stand that is happening here. So I really feel like things are just coming together and you're melding different pieces of yourself and your identity together in a way that feels like it can really heal and help you to mend things from the past. And so really, really beautiful reading for you all. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and got something out of it. And if you did, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below what you saw. I'd really be interested because I think you guys had a really interesting pile. Also, if you're interested in these pick a card readings, I put out new readings every single Monday, so definitely feel free to subscribe if you haven't already, as I put out not only those pick a card readings but also educational videos on charm casting and art magic with a grimoire tour and more. And if you're interested in those New Year's readings or any other kind of offering that I have with magical spell papers and custom charm casting mats and more, then definitely feel free to check out all of the ways in which you can support the channel down below through my Instagram. It's a great way to support the channel, support myself, support this space, but also to support yourself in your own divination and personal life journey. So with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off this reading. I'm wishing you the best for your month of February. Have all the fun with the macaroni art, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.